Isn't it amazing how this little bodies in here can turn from that to this? Ooh. Buckle your seats up as I'm about to show you how to create homemade wine through the process of fermentation. So the first thing I did is I prepared a 1 kilo of clean fruit in here, and if you're wondering why I chose grapes, it's because grapes has the most appropriate balance of sugar, acids and tannins in order to have a fermented drink. And also take note that grapes has a high percentage of sugar, which is really good for fermentation since it's the one to be converted into alcohol. Enough of the talking, and now I'm going to use this blender in order to extract the grapes juice. And as you can see, I am adding the grapes little by little to make sure that I extract as much juice as possible. And take note that you have to use gloves throughout the process in order to ensure that no contamination that can happen, which can lead to forming of molds in the future. Now look at this, I'm close to extracting 1000 milliliters of juice. And yup, I think we're done here and it's time to strain it up. So I have here a strainer and of course the juice that I extracted earlier from the grapes. The purpose of this is to remove the solid particles which can interrupt, and we have to be meticulous on this part as we don't want even little tiny bit of it into our juice. So as you can observe, I filtered it 2 times because look at that, it's just so unexpected. And next I prepared a casserole here in where I poured all the juice because I'm going to heat it to near boiling. After that, I added 1 cup of brown sugar. Remember, the higher initial sugar content, the higher alcohol will be present in the finished wine. So what I'm doing now is homogenizing this mixture by stirring. Now we arrived to one of the most crucial part in this fermentation process, which is adding a yeast. Now this yeast converts the natural sugar of grapes into alcohol, which is ethanol. So I just activated a half tablespoon of it in a lukewarm water. And then I added the homogenized mixture and voila! I will just stir this for 5 to 10 minutes. While watching me stir, let me just say this additional information to you. So fermentation is a chemical reaction that affects the aroma and the color of the successful wine at the end. We can also say that it is a process wherein the grapes is transformed into wine. Enough of the commercial, and here is the 7-liter fermentation container. And I'm using a funnel in here to avoid spillage and transferring. Dun 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 dun, here they come. So later on, when we store it, fermentation temperature is vital. Why? Because the high temperature, the better grape skin, but will drive off aroma. And the cooler the temperature will be, it will be volatile. And if it's extremely high, it will have undesirable. So I guess the safe way is just to store it in a room temperature, dark place, and undisturbed. And now I'm making an improvised cotton plugs to allow the carbon dioxide gas and pressure. And now that it's completely settled, I guess see my wine in 14 days. See ya! Guess what? It's the 14th day of my wine, which means that the last fermentation is complete and the yeast has fully consumed all the sugar they can. So I have again the funnel in order to avoid spillage. And here's the wine. So to not keep you bored while watching me just transferring it to another container, let me tell you my observation for the past week. So for the first week of fermentation, what I have observed is that the smell started to build up, like it's really strong. Reek of alcohol, like the beers or the alcoholic beverages, not like the rubbing alcohol. And for the color of wine, it's still violet. And the good news is, I haven't seen a mold formed, which means that my wine didn't have contamination in the process. And now it's about time to transfer it into a shot glass. So what I have observed in my wine's finished product is that even though it didn't clear up, it really smelled like an alcoholic beverage. And you can see the clear part of it on top. And for the taste, it tastes sweet with a taste that I don't understand, like grapes or something. Now it's alcohol testing time. So I have here a little container with my wine, and I also have a match in which we would like to test if it really formed alcohol. So here you can observe that when I lit up the match and put it on the, you really can observe that there has to be an alcohol formed because it lit up and showed a blue flame, more like a pale blue flame. Let's just say that. And it is stable because even it is going on for a longer time, the fire isn't going down. So the purpose of this alcohol testing is to know if this wine is really safe to drink, because once it showed in orange color, it means that other type of alcohol has been formed which is not safe for drinking. Meanwhile, this blue flame indicates that it produced an ethyl alcohol which is safe. Not just that, moreover, once there has been no flame formed, it means that there's a little to no alcohol that will make it not that safe for drinking, because the alcohol serves as like a preservative in the wine. So if there's none, then I bet that is not that safe. Therefore, I have made a successful wine from the process of fermentation. And again, with the yeast, the natural sugars of the grapes was able to be converted into an alcohol called ethanol. And that concludes my discussion for today. I hope you learned something from it.